do as well, you know. And my grandfather and grandmother were farmers for real. So I've seen, you know, or they've told me how it really worked. And the music industry works in a similar way. Like, yeah, man, you sold 1 million records, but God damn it, we didn't make that marketing money back. I think that the way you combat that is by right now using technology and being independent as fuck. I think what LP said 20 years ago was right. Artists should strive to be independent as fuck. And whether it's being commissioned to paint the Sistine Chapel, so the church gets to tell you what Jesus looks like, or you're being commissioned to paint this particular religious figure and it needs to look like his cousin, or you're an artist that works for Columbia or for BMG or for these other groups. As an artist, anytime you're sponsored, you're going to get put in a position you're uncomfortable with. It's going to be more of a sharecropper position. If you don't want to do that, you just got to be independent. And being independent means you're going to put your own money to yourself. It means you might not get wildly rich, so you're going to have to learn to live below your means. You're going to have to become a better business person. Most artists don't want to become business people. So most artists voluntarily go into that construct knowing what they're doing. In matters of race and race relations, we have been used and abused as black artists, and we know that. I would argue that what we need is more black professionals behind the desk. You need more black lawyers and attorneys. You need more black agents. You need more black companies that are the bridge between the larger company and the artist. So I would argue we need more Roc-A-Fellas. We need more Bad Boys. We need more LaFace Musics. And if you don't have that, then you don't have the cultural vanguard that will protect the artist. You know, because we have artists kind of seeing themselves as having wiped away the middleman and doing direct business with the larger companies, you still have the same thing you traditionally got in the museum. So if you want to pull out of the sharecropper syndrome or that construct, then it means to leave and go start your own farm. You know, and starting your own farm means you don't have 100 acres, you got 2. And you have to be comfortable. So I think that for hip hop in particular, we have a lot to learn from the punk aspect. You know, what punk did in the 80s and what hip hop was in the 80s when punk and hip hop were aligned was they did it themselves, you know. And a lot of times doing it yourself isn't romantically as flashy and as fly, and you have to make that decision, you know. If you're an abolitionist, you're not going to get, you know, the money from federal government to help you in slavery. You're going to have to figure that shit out on your own. So I think that's what hip hop artists are going to have to do. And I think that when you do that, it dramatically changes the way they engage in business with you, which is why Cash Money has the sweetest independent deal ever, and why everybody who tried to do what they did after them doesn't, because they weren't willing to make the sacrifices that Baby made 20 years ago, and that was to take his own money and put it back into his business. Yes, sir.
I know you're going to the White House dinner tomorrow. If you had to rate Obama in his 2 terms, strictly, I give him a grade, A, B, C, D, strictly on how he's dealt with race relations in America, what grade would you give him and why?
What grade would I give him on race relations in America?
Like just on how he's handled race relations in America.
Handled the same as any other president. I give the average American president about C-.
C-?
Yeah, but that's not just him, that's any U.S. president, you know. I would have probably given Bush a C if we hadn't went into the Iraq war. You know, at the time we went into the war, Bush actually was sending the Committee of People to South Africa on that global relations thing on race they had while Mandela was still alive. I thought that was very progressive of Bush to do. I thought that having Colin Powell as the Secretary of State was very progressive. I still am a fan of Condoleezza Rice, you know. So I thought Bush was more progressive than people gave him credit for. And I think our current president is a little less progressive than we give him credit for. But with that said, I think on average, every U.S. president has been about a C, C-. You know, that's about what I figure you're going to get out of them. I'm more concerned with how local municipalities handle race. So I'm more concerned with cities like Compton, Detroit, Watts, boroughs like Harlem, places like Miami, Alabama as a state. I'm worried about how they're treating and confronting race. So when talking about race from a federal level, I'm not that interested in it. I don't give a damn. I'm talking about race on the state and local level. That's more about what I'm about. You know, how do we change Ferguson without having it be a federal issue? You know, there should not be a municipality in these United States that has over 60 to 70% African Americans live in that municipality, and that's not reflective on the police force. You know, there shouldn't be a municipality in these United States where 50% of the municipality is women, and that's not reflective on the police force. That's not effective in politics. You know, we're fucking up because we're voting for the wrong people locally and statewide, so we need to fix that. So what my president feels about race or how effective he's been on race is almost a secondary or tertiary thought to me. My thoughts on race are more about what is the Atlanta public school system to say the federal mandated thing that Bush did, sit down and No Child Left Behind.